Hello and welcome to Excel Highway. In today's video I want to share with you a project management tool I created in Excel. And I think what's unique about this tool is that I'm using shapes, not cells. So what you see here that represents the task is actually a shape that when you click on refresh, it moves according to what's showing over here. So this tool has a lot of VBA code in it, not a lot of Excel regular formulas, so it's mostly VBA. So I want to show you what options you have here, and if you're interested you can stick around and learn how to do it yourself. So there's a custom ribbon over here called Project Management, and you have 6 buttons: New Task, Complete Task, and Delete Task. Plus there are 3 buttons here for the chart itself, for the plan sheet: Refresh Chart, Change Timescale, and Hide Unhide Type. Let's take a look at how we create a new task. You click on the new task button, you get this user form. This would be, let's say, test system with customer, and the resource. I don't want a start date. It's going to take 15 days, and the predecessor is the last task, which is the deployment. And you can see as I shift tasks, I can see, and then let's say -3, so start 3 days before the end of the deployment, just so you see how it works. You click on submit and you get this line over here, and you should see a new shape: test system with customer. Now mind you that in the file I protect the entire sheet, so nothing can go wrong, because everything is important here: the width, the columns, the shapes themselves, so they should be blocked. But you see that there's a -3 for the slack, so it actually starts 3 days before. So that's how you create a new task. If you want to complete a task, you can just click over here, complete task, and it's gonna change this number to 100% plus color it in gray. Now you did see that there are 2 different colors. Every time you make adjustments, you can only make adjustments to the blue columns manually in the protected version. So you will notice that this color changes whenever you're below the expected. The expected is the pace. It's based on the start and end date, and today what percentage of the task should be completed. So we're on the 4th of the month, and it started on the 29th, so we should be at 67%. We're only at 50%, so this is highlighted. When you click on refresh chart, you're going to see that the shape will be colored in red. So you can also see that it's red. So the 3 colors here are gray for completed, red for late, and green for on time. So that is the new task, complete task. Then you have the delete task. You get this pop-up message: are you sure you want to delete the task? I'm going to click no, but if I click yes, let me do it here, it just go ahead and delete the entire row, including the shape. So we looked at the refresh chart. That's going to update everything here, what you manually do. Then there's the change timescale. The timescale is over here. You have the ability to change 4 different timescales: day, week, month, and quarter. If we select day, then we're just going to see every day as a column. You see 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this is March and April. I may change the text so it's a bit more clear. But anyway, that's a day. That's for short-term planning. If you go over to week, which makes more sense, usually you want to plan a weekly, monthly, or quarterly, but in case you want a daily, you have that option. So you see here it's a bit clearer. So you see week 9, week 10, and that's based on the dates over here. That's what's nice about the shape, that you actually see it to the area that it's needed. So that's the weeks, and I also have the ability to change the start date. So I can change the start date. I'm not going to do it because that's going to mess up everything, but if you change the start date, then over here, if I unhide, there's the first cell, which everything is referenced over there. So that's the start date. That's the timescale. The last button that I have over here is hide unhide table. I'm calling this table. Click this, and basically you only see the chart which is easier to be for some time to view, and you can just go back and forth like this very easily. The list sheet include the horizon drop-down selection, which you shouldn't change, and the start date, which you can change. I just used today and gave about 57 days out, but theoretically you could put it as, let's say, today minus, I don't know, 32 days, 33 days, just to show you what happens now if I change the time scale. So I think we're going to see it better with the month view. Yeah, so now you see March. I don't think I changed it. Let's change the time scale. The only thing is I need the time scale to start here. So let me just move it out a bit more. And let's show you how from February. How it looks when you run it. So now you have February over here and it starts for March. So that's something that you can play with. I'll bring it back to the 1st of March. Alright, and also here I'll bring it back to today. Alright, so those are the main functionalities of this chart, this project management tool. I think it's pretty cool. I think it's nice to use. So if you're still here and you want to learn how to do it, let's deep dive into how it's done. As I said, there's a lot of VBA code, but let's start with the non-VBA code. So let's unhide everything here. So first of all, you have the current time scale. Basically, I'm looking for the value over here, which I paste in the VBA code. I'm looking for that value in the first column, and using index match, I'm going to return the current time scale. I'm going to use that for this to populate the current time scale, because I always want to have a value over there. Today, that's just the today. That's going to be used for the expected. Instead of using the formula for each row, I'm just going to reference this row just to speed up a bit the time. This is the formula line. Whenever there's a new task, I just copy the entire row. There are formulas here in the orange columns. The blanks are going to be populated by the new task, and this area to the last one, you can see just has a white background. Okay, see the white background. So just so the shapes are more apparent that way. So that's the formula line. Let's take a look at the formulas. This one is not a formula. It's actually a formula in VBA that gives us the last number that was used here plus 1, so we don't have the same task number twice, because we're going to use that for the predecessor tasks. The expected, that's going to basically calculate the difference. You see the difference between today and the start date divided by the end date minus the start date. Okay, so that's the percentage needs to be completed by today, a minimum of 1, because I don't want, if I have spare time, I don't want it to show me a very, very high number. And a maximum of 0 because, minimum 1 because if I'm late, I don't want it to show me how late I am. You see this one is late and date is 28. If I don't have the minimum 1, it's just going to give me this number 123, 29, which doesn't make sense. And the maximum 0 is for cases like this where it's a futuristic value. I just don't want to show a negative value because the expected should be between 0 and 1. So that's the expected. End date, start date plus duration minus 1. Start column and end column is how I'm going to use to match the location to input the shape using the VBA code. So I'm just searching for the start date and the end date. Over here you have the first date in M1, and then every day it's +1 for however columns I have over here. Quarter, it's this function Q, concatenate roundup, month M1, which is the day divided by 3, so you get a number between it's either 1, 2, 3, or 4, and the year M1, so you get basically this value, Q1, whatever. Month, I'm using text that returns the name of the month and year. Week, W and week number, starting with Monday, and year, okay, very basic. And the day, like this, but I understand that it's not as clear, so maybe I should add a day and month or something. I just hope it's not too much text. That's all the, let's say, Excel formulas over here. And the reason it's all hidden because I want it to be visually appealing. Let us deep dive into the VBA code, which is the most interesting part. So let's start with the task. I think it's the simplest one. Got a user form. I've created a lot of user forms. You can always check out this video. I'll put a link in the description for detailed explanation of user forms. But basically there's labels over here on the left and either text boxes or combo boxes on the right. Let me show you just a bit on the code behind the scenes if there's anything very specific or very unique. Nothing much very unique. These are things that I do all the time. Generate the combo boxes over here. If the combo box changes, then the text box changes using VLOOKUP. Here in the submission, I'm checking if something is missing. I'm going to get this pop-up message. So if I have the task but I don't have the start date or duration, I'm going to get start date or predecessor, then it's not going to work. And if I don't have a duration, I'm also going to get this pop-up message. I need at least 1, 2, and 3, or this one. So either predecessor or start date. So that's how I'm capturing that in the code. Checking if the length of those values is 0, and I'm giving this unique message. Otherwise, you can see basically pasting. Alright, this is the interesting part, using the shapes, which is new. So a shape oval is shape, that's the new parameter. And I've added an on error resume next, so if you don't use a date, I just need that as a backup plan. So start column is 20. If you selected a date, so I'm going to match wherever that date is in row number 7. Same for end date. And then I'm going to select the range, which is basically the row I'm in, the start column and the end column. That's going to be the last row, so that's the next row available. So here I'm going to add another shape, so active sheet shapes add shape. That's just a built-in function. I'm completely ignoring the other parameters because I'm going to change them in a minute. Changing it over here. So this is where it gets interesting. The left equals the range left, and the top equals the top range width. You see, so basically whatever I have over here, which is the start column, end column, that's the range that I'm going to use to reference the shape. So that's the magical part over here. Here I'm going to add the text. Okay, so the text is going to be whatever's in B plus whatever's in C for the resource, right? You see it over here. So if I change this to number 2, click on refresh, I'm going to get that character over here. You always need to click on the button. You cannot do it automatically because it's going to be an endless loop. Here I'm changing the font size and aligning center and vertical and horizontal. So then I'm going to call update sheet, which I'll show you soon enough, unload the user form, and call protect, which is how to protect the sheets. Okay, let's take a look at the update sheet. So this is how it works. First of all, we create the dependencies. That's pretty nice, because that's basically what it does. Is going to change the start date of the task based on the dependency that you have over here. So this has a dependency for task number 1 with a slack of 1, so it's going to start on the 29th, which is one day after. If I change that to 2 days, then it's going to change to 30. And that's how this is what this code does basically. So again, I just used match because I changed things around in the beginning and I didn't want to change the code every time. I just used match to find the exact column that I'm looking for. So that's what these all 4 codes are doing. And then I just have a loop. I go from the first row to the last row and just check if there's any dependencies. So column index, that's the predecessor. So if there's any predecessors, then I'm just going to use this code to basically paste that value over there. That's what the create dependency does. Nothing very dramatic over here. Then I'm going to loop all of the shapes that I have in the sheet. So for each SH inactive sheet shapes, if the name, that's actually, I don't need that anymore. That's previously when I had, instead of a ribbon, I had a shape with the update and it kept changing it, so I added this code. Anyway, so the name is equal to the top left address. So if I click on this, you see that the name of the sheet is P8, which is the location of the shape. Okay, and I'm just going to use that. So select and move shape. Move shape, that's going to be this code over here. That's the one that does all the changes. So this checks if there's anything done, any selected, but actually it's not needed for this in this case. Number hidden is the number of rows that are hidden. I'm using that because I have 6 rows. Basically how it works, it looks for the dimensions and locations on the table. And basically if there's hidden rows, I have to take them into account. So I just have those hidden rows, and the more rows I have, the bigger I'm going to multiply this to understand which row I am. So to understand which row I am, for example, if I'm in row, I want to understand that I'm in row 8 in this case. So row is the active shape top plus number hidden plus active shape. Basically, it's the location. The physical location is here, and that's going to give me row number 8. Just gotta have to believe me. Then the start column, end column, and set range, those are all referencing now the row, so I know which row I am. And just like when creating the task, I'm going to change all the dimensions, text, and everything. Last thing I have over here is the colors. So if age is equal to 1, completed, then I'm going to color it in gray. If I is greater than age, then it's going to be green. And if I is greater than, sorry, that's late, because I is greater than, and if it's on time, then it's this color green. That's the move shape, and that basically covers the refresh chart part. Let's take a look at the tasks. That's relatively simple. So we have complete and delete tasks. First of all, I'm checking if the cell has any value over here, which tells me there's a task here, or if it's the line number 1 where it has task number. If either of these cases I want to give a message, please select task line. VB critical, that's the icon that you see, and this is the error message top the header of the message box and exit sub because I don't want to continue. So it looks like this. Please select task line. This should actually be after. That makes more sense. So please select task line. Same for here. If I've gone through that, so I'm going to unprotect and then just assign the value 1 over here and call the update sheet, which will change the dimensions and the color. If you delete a task, I also have this line which gives you the are you want to delete this task. So if you click, you get this pop-up message. If you click on yes or no, based on the results, you will see that it will go to the next lines. So here it just deletes the entire row and protects the sheet. So those are the tasks, and we covered the new task complete and delete task, refresh chart. Let's look at the hide unhide, which I think is nice. This one is already always hidden, so this one is nice, I think, just to easily look at that. This is going to be over here in the ribbon, so it's this button over here. So I'm checking if the first column is hidden. So if it's not hidden, I'm going to hide A through J. Otherwise, I'm going to unhide or false. Then I'm going to call update sheet. Simple yet effective. It's just instead of people having to go over here and click hide and unhide, or even using a group, I think it's just easier to have a quick button and you're good to go. Lastly, let's take a look at the time scale. Form, simple form, 2 combo boxes. Let's see if there's anything critical over here. So if you change the date, so it's just going to replace the date, call horizon update and update sheet at the end anyway. If there's no value, it just skips it. And this is how you initialize the form itself. There's 2 drop-down lists for combo boxes and checking if there's a value and taking it. And now let's take a look at the horizon update. So the horizon update, so first of all, you get horizon as a string, which is what is current over here. That's the horizon. So and I have select case. So select case basically based on whatever value this has is gonna use those codes. So if it's day, week, month, or quarter, the width. I changed the dimensions here. You can see the column here is 3, and I'm changing it for month is 3, for day it's 8. The wider, the less cells you can see, and you have to scroll. Basically makes them more visible. So specify range of cells merging. So what this does, this is gonna basically what this code does, it's gonna look at the it's gonna unmerge this part, right, this entire row, and then based on whatever value is, let me unhide them, based on whatever value you have over here, it's going to create a copy of them, whether it's quarter, month, week, or day. So first of all, you unmerge, then each column basically, or each cell, you're going just giving that cell the width and the value of that next column, and then you have the merge. So you have to merge basically if the values are matching, then you merge and you center, and you keep going. This is something that I found online, so it's working for me for a while, so I've been using it. And lastly, I've been using, if I didn't mention, display alerts true, calculation automatic, and screen update. These two just speed up the macro, and this is needed whenever you get some alerts and you don't want the user to be stuck with it. Alright, so that's pretty much how you can do it by yourself. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit that like and click on the subscription button. See you next time.